Once upon a time, there was a small town located in the far north. The town was so far away from other cities that it was very difficult to travel there. The town was quite isolated from the rest of the world, and the people who lived there had to rely on themselves to survive. The land was covered in snow and ice, and there were very few trees or plants. The town was situated near a large frozen river, which made the climate even colder. The winters in the town were especially challenging. The sun would disappear for weeks at a time, leaving the town in complete darkness. The temperatures would drop, and snow would pile up so high that it was almost impossible to travel. The people who lived in the town had to be very resourceful and prepared to survive these long and harsh winters. The sun had set for the last time, and the people of that town knew they were in for a very long night. But something else was coming with the darkness. A group of strangers arrived in town just before the sun disappeared. They were small and mischievous, with long pointy ears and glowing red eyes. The townspeople reluctantly let them in, thinking they were just lost travelers. But as the days went on, the strangers started acting weird. They wouldn't go outside when there is a bit of light, and would only emerge when it's complete darkness. When they did come out, they were always covered in dirt and filth. After a few nights, they started jumping on people's houses while the townspeople were asleep. They would walk on the rooftops, looking down into the homes with their glowing red eyes, observing the sleeping residents. At first, the townspeople assumed that the sounds they heard were just the creaking of the old buildings or the wind howling through the streets. But as the nights passed, more and more people began to report strange noises and the feeling of being watched. As the strangers gained confidence, they began to make more noise, scratching on windows and rattling doors, causing panic and fear amongst the already stressed and frightened townspeople. One night, the townspeople woke up to the sound of cackling laughter. They ran outside to see the strangers tearing apart their homes. The townspeople realized too late that the strangers were goblins. Those goblins had come to their town to wreak havoc where the sun never rose and the darkness never ended. Some of the brave individuals tried to chase the goblins away, but they were met with sharp claws and teeth, causing deep cuts and bruises. The goblins picked off the townspeople one by one, causing chaos and destruction. They would sneak into homes and steal food and supplies, leaving behind a trail of destruction and chaos. As the days went by, the goblins became more sadistic in their attacks. They would lure their victims out into the darkness, using their cackling laughter to taunt and torment them. The streets were soon littered with wreckage, debris, and destruction. The goblins also started to play with their food, taunting and torturing the remaining townspeople. They would chase them through the empty streets, cackling and throwing their victims into walls and buildings, causing injuries and broken bones. One night, a group of survivors tried to escape from the town, hoping to make it to a nearby outpost. But the goblins were waiting for them. They swooped down from the rooftops. The survivors were cornered, their screams echoing through the silent night. The few survivors who remained barricaded themselves inside a small house, hoping to wait out the final night. But the goblins were relentless, tearing at the walls and breaking through the windows. As the sun finally started to rise, the remaining townspeople huddled together in the corner. But as the first rays of sunlight hit the goblins, they screamed and ran away. Their reign of terror was finally over. Few survivors stumbled out of the house, their bodies battered and their souls traumatized. They knew they would never forget the horror they had endured during those long nights. They vowed to never let another group of strangers into their town again.